All right, today we are going to talk about the parts of speech. This is an overview because we have talked about this before. By the end of this lesson, I want you to be comfortable in identifying the different parts of speech in a sentence. You can use different ways of labeling a sentence, including the sentence diagramming that we've practiced before. Okay, so there are 9 parts of speech. Here they are. You're going to want to follow along with the notes that I handed out to you. So you can have those open in another tab. If you are someone who wanted to print them out and have a hard copy, you can do that. However, I will not be providing a hard copy for you. So go ahead and download those notes from your DINB. All right, so the first is the nouns group. Nouns, pronouns, adjectives, articles, those are all in the noun group. Those are the parts of speech and consider the noun group. In the verb group, you have verbs and adverbs, and then you have your miscellaneous group that has things like conjunctions, interjections, and preposition. I do know that there are some controversy over articles being considered a part of speech. However, for our purposes here, we're going to consider them such. All right, so let's talk about that noun group first. So, what is a noun? This is probably the first part of speech that you ever learned in probably first or second grade. A noun is a person, place, or thing. However, you can add that it's also an emotion or a feeling as well because you have abstract nouns. So, you have proper nouns that are the specific name of a person, place, or thing. So, for example, Mrs. Shepherd is my specific name. So, it is a proper noun. It is capitalized. You have Our Lady Perpetual Help School. That is the specific name of our school, so it would be capitalized. And then you have common nouns. Common nouns are just people, places, or things without specific names. So, girl, teacher, school, these are all just common nouns. They're not the specific name of the place, it's just what they are. And so they do not take a capital letter. Your articles will specify which one. You have the articles a and an, those are called your indefinite articles. Okay, so a piece of paper, an apple, you're telling someone which one. The is called your definite article, and it's because you're definitely talking about sending me, hand me the paper as opposed to handing me a paper. You're asking for a specific paper. All right, finally, you have your pronouns that replace nouns. Now, we're going to be going into pronouns in another unit, so this really is just an overview because pronouns are a hugely important part of speech and one that we use all the time. And they are hugely important because we don't want to repeat ourselves over and over again. And so we tend to replace these bigger, longer phrases and words with pronouns. So they do replace nouns, so they are considered a noun. You have the most common pronouns are your personal pronouns, I, you, he, she, it, we, they, also known as your subject pronouns. But you also have object pronouns like me, your, them, and you have demonstrative adjectives, this, that, these, those, etc. So you do have different types of pronouns. And again, we're going to go into those in more detail in another lesson. So for now, you need to just understand that these are very common pronouns and that they replace a noun. Probably the most common one is it. You'll see that a lot. And I see a lot of students forget that it is a pronoun. It's replacing a noun. All right. And finally, the last in our noun group is you have adjectives. Adjectives describe nouns. That's why they're part of the noun group. They are describing the nouns or describing a pronoun because, of course, a pronoun is a noun. Okay. All right. Finally, we have the verb group. Verb groups consist of verbs and adverbs. Verbs have different tenses. Okay, we have learned that before. We've talked about that before, but we'll go over it again. You, of course, have your basic past, present, and future tense. Tense is talking about the time that a verb is an action is taking place. You have action verbs. Okay, those are things that you do: jump, sing, dance, learn, speak. And then you have state of being verbs. Those are verbs like the most popular one is the verb to be, am, is, are, was, were. And then you have helping verbs. These are really important. We do have a song, so you know what? I'll put a link to the video with the helping verbs song in our DINB for you, so you'll be able to click on that. And you have verbals. Verbals are words that are made from verbs. They look like verbs, but they don't act like them. And again, we're gonna later on in the year going to be going into verbals a lot more. So if you ever come across a word in a sentence and you're like, okay, that looks like a verb, but it's not really doing any action. It's not telling me a state of being. More than likely what you're looking at there is a verbal. Okay. All right. Adverbs are words or phrases that modify a verb. They can also, just so you know, adverbs can also modify adjectives. Okay. So, but most of the time they're modifying a verb. They mostly end in ly, but they don't have to. So you want to look at how that word is functioning. What is it describing? Is it describing an action? Then it's an adverb. If it's describing a noun, then it's an adjective. So there's a lot of confusion between adverbs and adjectives. So you always want to look at, okay, what word is it modifying? What word is it describing? And go from there. All right, our miscellaneous parts of speech, we have conjunctions. Conjunctions are connectors. All right. So many people always remember that Schoolhouse Rock song, Conjunction Junction, what's your function? Well, the function is to connect. Okay. That's the function of a conjunction. You do have different types of conjunctions. The ones that are you learn first are your fanboys or your coordinating conjunctions. Fanboys stands for and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. Okay. Those are your coordinating conjunctions. Again, that's for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. And then you have your subordinating conjunctions. And of course, we have our song, which is probably popping into your head right now. Subordinate conjunctions, I love and I adore. There's after, although, as, because, before, if, provided, since, unless, until, and then there's wherever, whenever, while, and where, and when. So if you can remember that song, you've got all your subordinating conjunctions there. But another way to remember this is alubis, which stands for the after, although, as, when, where, until, because, and if, and since. Okay. So you have all of those, but I prefer our song. And then we have conjunctive adverbs, which we're really not going to be going into very much here. Okay. All right, we have interjections. These are your exclamatory words. They're kind of seen as an aside because you can add them into a sentence or you can take them out, and it doesn't really change the overall meaning of a sentence. If anything, it just adds more emphasis to it. So words like, hey, whoa, okay, right? Those are all interjections. They can come at any place in a sentence. They often come at the beginning of the sentence or at the very end, but they could also be in the middle. All right. They are very short words, usually four or less letters in a word. Prepositions. This is anything an airplane can do to a cloud. An airplane can go through a cloud. It can go above a cloud, under a cloud, around a cloud, next to the cloud. It can go towards a cloud or for a cloud, away from a cloud. Prepositions. Anything an airplane can do to a cloud. Another way of looking at this is these are words that show time, space, and location between two nouns. So, of course, our airplane and our cloud are two nouns, and anything that shows time, space, or location between those two objects is considered a preposition. Okay, so let's go ahead and practice. I want you to pause the video here and see if you can go ahead and label these sentences with the different parts of speech. You might need to use a separate sheet of paper for this. All right, so here are the answers. Let's see how well you did. Number 1, the cute puppy. Cute is an adjective. The is an article. It's the definite article. Puppy is a noun. Okay, so it's in black. Nouns should be in black here. Jumped is the verb. It's an action verb. Onto is the preposition that's showing the location between the puppy and the couch. All right. The is another article. Couch is a noun. So is a conjunction. We is a pronoun. It's a subject pronoun. Made is a verb. Her is a pronoun. Get is a verb. And down is a preposition. Okay. Let's take a look at number 2. Okay is an interjection. You can see interjections are normally followed by some sort of punctuation mark, either an exclamation mark, a period, or a comma. All right, we always want to separate those off because they are an aside. I is a pronoun, appreciate a verb, your is a pronoun, help is a noun, will is a verb, will is a helping verb, by the way. So it kind of goes in combination with tutor, will tutor. But we see that that verb phrase has been separated by a pronoun, which is common. And so you might have missed this. You might have not been able to catch, okay, will is a verb, tutor is a verb because of that here. So you need to do a good job of remembering those helping verbs. Again, go back to that video and watch the video. So will is a verb, you is a pronoun, tutor is a verb, me is a pronoun, and again is an adverb. It's telling you when something took place, when an action took place. All right. I'm going to skip down a few. I want you guys to go ahead and pause the video and check these after I'm done here, but I'll skip down to our number 6 here. Our is a pronoun. Spotted is an adjective describing the goldfish, noun. Survived is a verb. Here's a really good helpful hint for you. If a word ends in ed, it's a verb, and that's because it's in the past tense, and only verbs have tenses. So if it ends in ed, more than likely it's going to be a verb. All right. But is a conjunction. It's one of the fanboys. He pronoun is moving. Here we have again a verb phrase because it's consisting of a helping verb is and the main verb moving, or the action verb. Okay. So the whole thing is a verb phrase consisting of, again, a helping verb followed by the action verb. Very slowly. These are both adverbs. You can see slowly is the main adverb, and very is actually modifying slowly. So it is also considered an adverb. In is a preposition. The is an article, definite article, and tank is a noun. Okay. All right. So go ahead and pause this video here and check your own work. And if you have any questions at this point, I want you to write down the questions or highlight the one that you had an issue with so that you can ask me and we can get some further help with that.